Anthony Richardson is expected to start this week. For realsies. Mike McDaniel expects Tua to play again this season, but he did not say when. So, Jamie, if I'm trying to make a trade for Tua or Waddle or Tyreek Hill or whatever, what do you think? What's the best advice here for fantasy managers looking at the Dolphins passing game?
I think you got to go based on the timeline that we have, at least right now, which is he could return in week 8. And if he can return in week 8, then you're hoping you're getting the best of Tyreek Hill, the best of Jaylen Waddle, the best of Tua Tagovailoa. So the fact that, he was optimistic is great. The fact that he wasn't concrete about when he'll return is a little bit, troubling, that they're still trying to get clearance, or however he phrased it. But the first game that he can return is, that week 8 matchup. And I would still be trying to aggressively acquire Tyreek Hill, lesser degree aggressively acquire Jaylen Waddle, and hope that you get Tua from week 8 on. Heath has done a great job, illustrating the schedule for the Dolphins every time we've talked about this, and how it gets tough for them in terms of some opponents and weather situations at the end of the season. But if you can get Tyreek Hill for 4 or 5 games before that, or Jaylen Waddle 4 or 5 games before that, of what they're capable of doing, and you're not giving up a huge amount in return, then I would try and do so for sure.
Okay. So let's go to running back news. Travis Etienne is week to week with a hamstring injury. They've got the dream matchup this week against the Patriots. I think it's something like 8 running backs have 80 rushing yards or a touchdown against the Patriots in 6 games. Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones practicing a little bit. Devon Achane still in the concussion protocol. He was out there in a non-contact jersey on Monday, I believe. So they're coming off their bye. Tampa Bay, Dave, could use all 3 running backs. They've got Baltimore on Monday. Is this going to be just a fantasy disaster going forward? What do you think about the Bucs backfield?
It's going to be uncertain, that's for sure. We can't sit here and say that, oh, yeah, Sean Tucker has locked up the job and he's going to be a stud for the rest of the year. Bucky Irving's done a good job, and we know that Rachaad White, at least at bare minimum, can play on passing downs and do a good job there. What I'm kind of hoping for is that the Bucs tell Rachaad White, hey, take it easy. You've got, we've got time on your side. You have a seat. And they just narrow it down to the same 2 that crushed the Saints in the 4th quarter last week. And look, I think Tucker looked better. And this is somebody that I've talked about sparingly. Last year, he was one of my favorite undrafted free agent rookies. And when he got a chance to play, he was terrible. This is the first time he saw extended action. He looked amazing. And it wouldn't surprise me in the least if the Bucs went to those 2 as a 2-headed monster against Baltimore. The problem is it's Baltimore. And we know that the Ravens are certainly one of the toughest run defenses around.
Jerome Ford is going to miss some time with, I believe, a hamstring injury. Nick Chubb hopefully back this week, though. So we're looking at that. If not, Deontay Foreman would step into a bigger role, and Pierre Strong. Jonathan Brooks, they could open the 21-day window for Jonathan Brooks this week. He could return to practice. He's expected to return to practice this week, in which case he will have 21 days to be activated from that point on. Tajay Spears week to week with a hamstring injury. And have we heard anything about James Conner? Everything's kind of status quo there?
I believe he's fine, according to Gannon yesterday.
Okay. Gannon said that it was a game script thing, why he wasn't playing into the second half. But he was getting his ankle or something looked at on the sideline during the game.
Okay, and wide receiver news. So Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, they have the Thursday game against Denver. As of right now, it's not looking good for either of them, especially Olave with a concussion. But Shaheed apparently has a new injury, so I would not start Spencer Rattler this week against the Broncos. Jayden Reed appears to be fine, but Dontavian Wicks is week to week with a shoulder injury. Marvin Harrison's in the concussion protocol. Mike Evans, I'm guessing he's fine, but he played, I brought this up on yesterday's show, he played 57% of the snaps. So obviously he was dealing with something against the Saints last week. And tight end, Dallas Goedert, hamstring injury. We'll see on him. Taysom Hill was limited. He got back to practice. He faces Denver on Thursday. And on the offensive line, the big one that, of course, I'm waiting to see is what's the deal with Andrew Thomas. I would call him, I know y'all love Malik Neighbors, I would call him the best player on the Giants offense. and he is an elite left tackle. So he was playing through a foot injury at the end of Sunday's game, and Andrew Thomas will have an MRI, and we'll find out probably today. Jordan Mailata, left tackle for the Eagles, he's going to miss probably a couple of weeks.
That's big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially against, I got to say it, arguably the best pass rush in football. I believe the Giants lead the NFL in sacks, and we saw what they did to Joe Burrow and Geno Smith the last 2 weeks. And Zach Frazier for the Steelers, their center, he's going to be out a little while, maybe a long while. So that stinks for him. And Ryan Kelly, center for the Colts, he's banged up too. Big defensive stuff here. Aiden Hutchinson, we know about. Kyle Pico, Carlton Davis, 3 players for 2 starters and 1 rotational player for the Lions. They got hurt. The Seahawks beefed up their run defense. They acquired Jacksonville defensive tackle Roy Robertson Harris for a 6th-round pick. The Jets maybe getting closer to getting Hassan Reddick back, but they lost 2 defensive players in their secondary last night. They're at Pittsburgh on Sunday night. DJ Reed and Chuck Clark got hurt. 4 Cardinals defenders got hurt last week. See if they can get back to face the Chargers. And Patrick Surtain's probably not going to play. And the Commanders lost 2 key defensive linemen, pass rusher and a tackle for this. Allen's for the season.
Allen is huge for them.
I don't know about
torn pec. I think he's done for the year.
Yeah, I don't know about Dorrance Armstrong, how long he's out. But good news for the Eagles, Darius Slay is day-to-day.